I think I'm gonna let him go ahead and introduce you, the host, and then I guess we'll get started after that.
Okay.
All right. Okay, Jarvis.
Yes.
All right there. Hey, I guess we got a little technical difference going on right here, right now. I just want to go ahead and get started, though. I know time is always of the essence. So, I don't know how many participants. We got a few participants in the audience, it seems like. Good afternoon, everyone. Good evening, everyone. Or good afternoon, my bad. Well, my name is Jason Clark. So just a little bit background about myself. I love technology. I'm the 85 generation, so you call me a millennial generation. And so we kind of been born into all this technology stuff, whatnot, and it's become a way of way of life for us. And so I was glad I had the opportunity Bean Path allowed me to come in and host a tech talk. So I'm happy about this. It's kind of cool, outside of my background political world. So today I want to introduce this young gentleman, co-founder, chief technology. I can go on and on. Musician background, but I would like for you to actually come in your own words and let's have a little dialogue, have a conversation this evening. We don't have to be too technical because I'm not
Okay.
the expert yet. I'm not up to your level yet, but I want to just come in your own words, have a nice conversation this afternoon.
All right, great. I look forward to it.
All right, then. So, Mr. Addison, so tell us a little about yourself. Let's get a little bit about your background before we go into the meat of this conversation.
Okay, so like you said, I'm well, I don't know what generation I am. I think X because I was born in the 70s. So can you hear me fine? Can you hear me
Yeah,
okay?
I hear you great. I
Okay.
hear you great.
All right. And I was my first introduction to like computer technology as we know it today,
Hmm.
processor and all that stuff was with Commodore 64. I think I was in like third or fourth grade. Got it for Christmas. And
Okay. Okay.
and this is before apps and programming was a real thing. Not, I mean, a popular thing like it is now. It's part of the cultural lexicon, so everybody knows what an app is. Because we
Hmm.
were using terms like app and all that stuff before it was cool. So you used it like, what's that? But anyway, I had a best friend at the time. He and I both were, we just love the computers, and so we used to write programs and submit them to the Commodore magazine back in the day.
Okay.
Got
Okay.
published
Okay.
one or two times as we were in junior high. junior high school, elementary school, whatever. But anyway, so that I stayed on that track because I enjoyed it. Um, Fast forward to college, um, went to school for electrical engineering, as
Hmm.
well as minoring in computer science, and I minored in math and ended up getting a minor in, in mathematics as well. And so, but what brought me to the AI space at the time was my senior design project was a robot. So it was machine learning. So machine learning at the time, which is a type of AI, was relatively new and
Okay.
was, so it was research, more research than it is like now today, practical, right?
Okay.
And
Hmm.
so, but the robot at the time was like thousands of dollars, and the program it took us a whole semester, and this, that, and the other. And now the same kind of robot kit you give the elementary students for like $50. But anyway, our robot was a self-learning kind of a thing. So we taught it left, right, backwards and forwards, up and down. And so what it
Okay.
did was it avoided obstacles, it drive itself around. They even had enough sensors that if we put it on the table, it knew when to reach the edge to stop and all that other good stuff. And
Okay.
so,
Okay.
uh, that was
What
that.
time? What time period was this around? This is like the 2000s, the 90s. What time period was this?
This was 96.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
96.
Okay.
Yeah, I started school. I started at Florida State at 91. Yeah.
Okay. All right. All right. All right. All right.
Yeah.
I want to put a timeline for the audience that's
Oh, okay.
listening and that's tuning in so they can understand like where you begin, how you got to where you at, because a lot's going on in the last 20, 30 years with
Yes.
technology. So knowing that you was actually architect around these type of things that we are now taking as as the norm for us in this day and age.
Right, right, exactly. And so part of in parallel with that, I was the advertising director for the student campus entertainment. And
Okay.
so I made actually the university's first departmental website. I was on the committee that developed the standards for the university website
Oh
and had
wow.
talked on website development back in the 90s to other universities and whatnot. And so it was crazy, like
Free
running that.
scholarships? Was it free
Pardon me?
scholarships going on? Were you getting compensated for this? I just had
I
to
mean,
ask it. I
I
just
mean,
asked it.
I was a what was an OPS employee at the
Okay,
time.
then I got you.
There
I
was a
got you.
limit to how much I can make as a
Again,
student.
all right, I understand. I understand. But
But
that's cool though. That's cool because
thank you.
you get a real world. That time I would call that real world experience on the job training right now though that you probably couldn't necessarily get if you didn't take that opportunity or leap out to even put your head in that space. Correct.
Correct, correct.
Okay.
Yes. Yes. And
Okay.
so because of it, that knowledge, I didn't, I mean, I interned at Kodak,
Okay.
uh, but I started a business instead.
Hmm.
Entrepreneurship bit me because one of my frat brothers, he got married and we met this guy at the wedding and he was
Uh-huh.
like, man, he sold me on the idea of, entrepreneurship is the way to go. And
Way to
so
go.
I've been doing that since the 90s.
That's
And
that's a that's a blessing, man. That's really a blessing. You've been doing it for that long period of time, whatnot, though. So let me ask you some more questions here. We get into the meat, whatnot. Let's
yeah.
this how am I pronouncing it right? Akina?
Akina.
Now, where does this word come from? Because I went out there, did my little research, and I was here, I was there, but I got the man in front of me. So tell me where did this name came from before we start diving in into this technology you have.
Akina, see, you don't give me a line. The founder, Lee Butler. It's an African word, and forgive me, I can't remember which country, and
Okay,
it's
okay,
it's in relation to motherhood. Yeah,
okay,
so
okay, okay, okay,
because
okay,
that's
then.
how Akina started as Kijiji originally, and
Okay.
then it transformed into Akina.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay, but I had to ask the question because it's like a conversational piece.
yeah,
When I was on your website, I know a little bit about overseas, a little bit, not too much, but it had me to start researching, which I'm glad you guys kind of allowed me to research and dig in a little bit. But so let's talk about this background of what makes this software works. what is all in this technology you have? But this is what we really want to meet for. Like,
Okay, yeah.
tell me what's in here. What makes this IP so unique? And basically, because your target group was the women, and they're all around the whole world. You're a great customer to go to and reach for and whatnot though. So
Yeah.
let's dig into that.
Our technology started off well there, it's a platform.
Mm-hmm.
So you hear that word a lot, right?
Mm-hmm.
But on top of it, we're building a lot of different things. So a social media component, like tutoring and mentorship, a
Okay.
lot of different educational modules, and then that's where we started. But as you know, large language models, ChatGPT, OpenAI, they,
OpenAI, Gemini,
they
all
hit
those good guys.
right. And now everybody's talking about AI. It was as crazy as I built apps that use AI prior to everybody knowing what it was like sentiment analysis and
Okay.
what else and just like speech detection, those kind of things, and like just for you can and to understand intent. So it's just
Hmm.
like you're typing in, you're typing into a system, and it understands what exactly you're trying to do. So
Hmm.
it's a lighter form of a language model. But anyway, and more agentic. But anyway, and so as ChatGPT hit the scene, we saw an opportunity there to okay, let's see how we can incorporate AI into our strategy. And
Okay.
but we didn't want to do what everybody else was doing. And at the time, there are a couple of instances, and they still happen today, where you ask like Google's AI, associated black people to gorillas, and then chat
Wow.
open AI, just attributes crime to black people. And in our
Mm.
research that we're still seeing, even in the newer models that are coming out, that they have a lot of inherent biases. And
Okay.
so, or biases, excuse me. And so we said we wanted to, let's correct that. But at the same time, people who are making those, how AI works is that you're training it,
Okay.
and it takes a lot. That training, you kind of look at it like a mirror. So you're kind of putting yourself into it. So the people pouring into it, they don't look or act like us. And then on top of it, they're mostly male. So
Mm.
you're missing a huge element of the population
A lot of
uh,
different
with
variables.
their
Hmm.
training methods. Exactly. Women
Hmm.
and people that are not, Caucasian. And
Okay.
so, okay, so that's the idea. So that's where we started. And so wanted to build did some research to understand, had to dip back into humanities, understand the humanities to get
Okay.
uh, to take a definition of culture and to try
Okay.
to make it technical, but then on top of it, understanding how to build what we call a foundational model. And so we what okay, long story short, the point of it is to eliminate as much bias as possible out of these systems, and make it a more accurate, or more, I don't
Universal
universal. There we
product
go. I
for
didn't want to
yeah,
use sensitive,
universal.
but universal. Yes,
No, yeah,
yes,
yeah, yeah. Universal product for everyone to actually be able to be a part of it and whatnot, though. Part of
yeah,
the ecosystem.
yes.
I understand exactly what you're saying here, and I'm pretty sure the members who are entities are also. So let me get this one question. So, what out of this system, what's the most proud feature you like about this product?
Well, proud feature is either being, a tech guy. The things that I like are usually
Well,
not in front of people.
but that's the beautiful thing about Tech Talk. We can get a different perspective.
Okay.
You can actually enhance our understanding of maybe some we probably taking for granted and don't understand what's a lot of work is going on is for you to actually have that feature. So that what makes it stand out, and that's why you may articulate it. So I'm saying speak on it because to me it's
Oh,
a
okay.
learning curve on both ends.
All right, got you. So,
Yes, sir.
as you know, with these systems, again, like I mentioned before, a lot of training, a lot of data. So, even before we pulled up the keyboards and started with the first line of code, we had to figure out, okay, so what are we going to train this system on? And
Okay.
so you had to go out and just start digging pretty
Hmm.
much. And once we got going, it got it's gotten easier. But
Okay.
there's a still amount to climb in that regard. However, with the data that we have and the research that we're doing, comparing our model to others, we're seeing about a 50% increase in scoring in terms of being less biased, so to speak.
Okay.
So it's outperforming the major models in terms of detecting bias and correcting and attributing for it. And so that's the great thing. So the bias mitigation is on point, and it's also sensitive to it can pick up the nuances and culture. Well, I just say the nuances of your culture within your language. Um,
Well, let me answer this question and correct me if I'm going too far left or too far right.
okay.
Um, so how do you define the cultural component of AI? Um, yeah, like far as today, how do you actually define it or how do you measure that?
Okay, so an example would be like just in terms of attributes and pretty much in human language adjectives, right? And
Okay.
so what we're looking for is like for instance, the word black.
Hmm.
You're seeing in when used as an adjective, what is it attached to? What's the sentiment of the word that it's attached to? What's the context of it? What's the how do people feel when they see it, or what's when these words are put together, how does it emote rather? And so you can actually measure those things, and you can see how the models are putting those together. And so a lot of the other models is very negatively, like I mentioned earlier, like black
Okay.
people at the time and such. And so we look for that and to fight against it. But on top of it, we don't have a monolithic system, we have a
Okay.
federated system. So we
Okay.
have and so that's the key. We have uh, cultures made up of multiple facets. So we have 13, 13 different facets of culture that make
Hmm.
up that sit behind the model
Okay.
that our classifier can pull from in order to make sure things are correct. And so each one of those buckets of culture is
Hmm.
always it stays on, is always going out on the net and going to various sources to make sure that it stays relevant and up to date.
Prevalent. So,
Yes.
since you mentioned that, then uh, what do you see as being the long-term impact, socially or technically, whatnot, though, of you guys' services?
Okay. So, as you well, we're still building and on the platform. So, our first phase that we're getting ready to do is we want to incorporate. Well, we've already incorporated it. Right now, it's just like ChatGPT. You can go and talk to it, right, with the
Hmm.
text. A single modal input text, and you type something, get a response. But so now our next phase is to now that our membership has grown, now we can
Okay.
start get a lot of reinforcement training going so that it learns from the members. There's members,
Mm.
there's preferences of this, that, and other that it builds upon on top of the data that it gets outside. So I know people are like, what about privacy and such? Well, the way that we anonymize the data and this, that, and other, it is I don't want to say impossible, but it's almost literally impossible to tear it apart because it goes into these magic. I like to call it the magic black box, and
Okay.
it does this thing. And once you pour it in there, you can't pull it out, right? Into
Gotcha.
back into those original components. But anyway, and so we're taking that, and so we're building our first major feature that's going to be on the front facing side will be like a concierge for the social media app. So you come into it, it greets you, this, that, and the other, lets you know what you've been missing. These people are talking about this. Since you're interested on this thing, these members made these posts, and or these members that are like you or similar to you or whatever,
Hmm.
With that the system will try to match you up with, like, hey, these new members join, go over and say hi. And then, and then another feature is like it replying to some of your posts. It kind of keep things going while if you're not available to respond.
Okay.
It'll respond on your behalf in your voice. So
Now,
that's the interface.
is that you said, I think you mentioned you start with a G AI you mentioned
Uh, uh,
earlier.
with generative AI.
Yeah, that's not a generated AI component, is that or no?
Oh yeah, it is. It's generative. Yeah.
Okay, I tell you, I'm still interested.
Oh
I'm
no,
not
no.
I'm not the best techie yet, but I'm still learning this new because it's moving so fast. It's like,
Yes.
what Star Trek used to be is kind of here, but from the television to where we're at right now. Are there any other sectors you guys are going to be going into, like healthcare, finance, or anything like that at all?
I can say this. We are also working on the finance component
Okay.
and the stock and investing component. And those are actually those, well, the finance component won't be there just yet, but the stock and investing component, for those who want to learn more and take pretty much take a stock chart or a couple of stock
Okay.
charts of different other same ticker, different time
Hmm.
frames, drop it in and get an analysis of what's going on with the stock, and it can with pretty high accuracy give you potential setups. Now, I always have to disclaimer to say this is not financial advice and this, that, and the other. But the people that we've tested it on via paper trade, some people actually use their real money, but it's had about an 84% accuracy, um, and it does pretty good. So we're going to be introducing that to the members as well. Now, to circle back to the finance part, as you know,
Hmm.
the whole credit scoring system was built to keep us out, right?
1990. I know a little bit of history about that. But it's
Right.
here now. It's a tool we gotta use.
Yeah, exactly. That's the tool we got to use. But
Yes, sir.
so finance tool is designed will be designed to help sidestep that, or to help members who are working on getting improving credit or working on start entrepreneurs are trying to get their funding and such, help
Hmm.
them prepare packages and things of that nature, go through their finances in a private way,
Hmm.
and steer them in the right direction of how you can best achieve to get what you need to get from the bank, investors, or what have you.
Okay.
Um,
Well,
yeah,
so you guys are doing some great things. I know healthcare is going to be on the rise. That's why I had to ask that question. I know
yeah.
finances and of course education, especially what's going on currently in the U.S. Economy.
Right.
Um, so how you guys, how you actually able, how are you going to actually maintain the innovation as your company start to scale up?
Well, because of the nature of culture, it's always
Okay.
changing, moving. That helps the innovation. And then, as you know, I'm sure my team gets tired of me saying this, man. It's like it's too much, it's too fast, it's too much, it's too fast.
Hmm.
Because agentic AI and such are relatively new things. Like so now you can, and I mean and that's a whole new facet of artificial intelligence. So
Hmm.
you're giving these systems agency to perform actions on your behalf. And so now you can tell things to go buy me a plane ticket, go, or I want this menu for this week for the family. Now go, or I want to eat this kind of food for the week. Go create me a grocery list, prepare me a menu, send over create a shopping list and send that over to Instacart, and then send it to Instacart. Instacart will send it to their shoppers, and then
I
next thing
got you.
you got it. Your food shows up at the door. It's crazy.
Well, I mean, as long as I know who's gonna pay for it, I'm happy. But you know,
Right. And
well,
one thing Americans will do, pay for convenience, right?
yeah, that's they have us pay for convenience, right now. So what's some other things we don't know? We don't know about the company. You want to let us know that for our listening audience, those who we listen later on.
Yeah, no, like you said, we're in growth phase. And I do the mention about the health. And this is the other reason how we kind of got, we wanted to improve it. Like we were go to a system, ChatGPT, and ask, I need to find a black doctor in Texas because that's where
Hmm.
the CEO and CO are from. You'll get a list of doctors, and we, we looked up each one of them, and they were all white. And
Oh
so,
wow, it was
and so,
hallucinating
yeah, yeah, big time.
then.
We even use systems like Perplexity to test it to see how accurate they are because they are, well, now they all have access to the internet. But at the time when I was designing this, Perplexity was the only one that had the most access to the net. I asked the same question, still get the same similar, better responses, but still there were a few black doctors in there, but the top results that it gave were all white doctors, unfortunately.
Mm,
And
mm.
so that's uh, to lead into what you asked me, that's where some of the bottlenecks are, and area places where you would expect to get that, to get the correct information to filter out a doctor that looks like you is actually extremely difficult. So this is where AI doesn't help. So we need data researchers. So people
Big
who
time.
yeah, to be able to go out and curate these lists to be able to feed into our system. And that's where we are. We do want to, enhance the platform with the AI, but at the same time, making it useful in many facets for many different people. Of course, we're starting with women and moms, but we're going to expand that to include
Please, please include us all, please.
a lot.
Well,
Yeah,
so that leads into this question, how do we get more of you? What's
God,
your advice? How do we get more young people from your background, makeup, that who want to be founders and start out? How do you, increase that pipeline?
well. Well, for people that are, that look like me or at my age range, like in the summer times, I'll teach at Morehouse, teach
Okay.
tech classes at Morehouse to high school students, and
Okay.
so introduce them to a lot of different technology, and we have different projects and stuff. And
Hmm.
then you kind of like mentor them, right? And so that's one way of doing it. But at the same time, you try to find those people in charge to kind of get them to encourage and put in programs for students. Give them better technology equipment. Let them be curious, right? Because I had a very unconventional schooling. So uh, my fourth, shoot, all the way up until I moved to Florida, is like you start your grade and like, okay, these are the things, and so you literally kind of self-taught yourself the whole time. So that and
Mm.
the teacher just watched over you, made sure you were progressing along, and then at the end of the school year, you gave these presentations. And so, and I think that really helped, and to foster that creativity, to push it beyond the restrictions of a structured school system. And so it's just, and then in your spare time, if you like something, man, the hobbies doesn't have to be tech, but just anything that you really, because entrepreneurship can come from anything, right?
That's very, very well true. What would you tell your younger self? What would you tell the young Mr. Addison for what you know now? I'm just being honest. I had to ask that
Right.
question, but like I'm like, what would he tell his younger self? Because he's way up there in my book. So, what would you tell the gentleman 30 years ago, 35 years ago, 40 years ago?
Oh man, I would tell myself to just, well, I'm doing it now, just keep learning. Because most of everything that I've learned and things that I do, they weren't around, they weren't invented when I was in school in college.
Mm.
So yeah, just stay on the learning path and buy stock in Apple. Pay attention to Google and that Yahoo lecture that you had, throw some money
Yes.
in your stock as well.
Oh, so you say you had all this stuff coming at you at one point. You just did.
Just the
I'm glad it kind of took that way because I will be sitting here with you right now. That's
right.
that's how I would like to say. Well, hey, it seems like we're about to come up here pretty soon to close out.
Oh,
Any last few words or any questions from the audience that's listening? I don't see any raised hands at all. If not, then what your last few words you want to say or last few comments?
yeah, I just want to say thank you for having me today and giving the opportunity to speak on the technology and what we're doing at Akina. And we're looking forward to being able to, give give more of it to more of the world, to
Mhm.
be able to, keep things in balance, and and to protect our legacies. Because I don't know if you all noticed that um, the commander in chief had signed some executive order,
Mhm.
effectively trying to ban what he called woke AI,
Okay.
which ours, by their definition, would fall under that. But of course, we're not
Mm.
stopping. And it's a play on words, so we can just call it whatever. But so we want to stay on that mission because it's starting to turn a little bit bigger than us. And so
Respect.
yeah, so we just want to
Respect.
keep at it and keep at it. Fight
Well,
the good fight.
I would say my military background, just know you got to keep on pushing the needle forward. You got to keep on regardless. You got to stay on the main goal. Like I said, we need more and more people like you. I love that your company set out to actually go to a population of people most times get an underlook or don't have the foundation they need, which they give us all life. And something we won't be here today when it comes to the
Right.
brother, you know? It's so hard and so but hey, love to have you. Hopefully Beam Path allow me to come back and co-host again. And hope I can come back and have a nice follow-up chat with you about where you guys are at, your stages and whatnot, though, and hopefully we get some more comments and they can probably let you know some ideas because I'm pretty sure those who are engaged in your platform, they always give you a new idea, a new concept to take the company to the next level. So,
Yes.
I once again appreciate the time. I want to give a shout out to the Bean Path. Thank you guys once again for allowing us to come on this afternoon, this lovely Tuesday afternoon.
Oh,
I'm over here in hot Georgia. But I'm outside, get some of this good air in. So I look forward to you, Mr. Addison. Take care of yourself and prosperity to your company.
all right, great. Thank you very much. I look forward to meeting you all again soon. And I do hope we have a chance to follow up and give our progress.
Yes, sir. Take care. Peace out, everybody.
Peace.